So then, as we enter the Wall of Peaceful Coexistence, we learn more about the group known as the Hidden Grove, and the heroes sealed within these walls. Plus, for the first time in a long while, Bam, Kun and Rak team up against an enemy once again. Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime's Elia, and today let's talk all about the Wall of Sleeping Forget-Me-Nots and the Kallavan versus White story arcs within the Tower of God webtoon series. Some great arcs, heavy information filled arcs, so let's dive right into it and talk about all the interactions that took place. So because she was the main focus character within these arcs, let's first talk about Dowon. To start off with, her character looks incredible. I really like her design, and from a power aspect, she's certainly strong as a wave controller. She was in fact the wave controller of her group, the Hidden Grove, before being sealed away. In fact, she was considered such a threat to Jihad's forces that she was specifically targeted for sealing away in order to establish peace and for a nation to survive. Her home nation was targeted and offered peace at the expense that they bring her and seal her specifically away. Her nation accepted, and she agreed as her kind, heartfelt personality led her to do so. So in her mind, if she could bring a bit of joy and a bit of peace to those around her by sealing herself away, then she would do so. She does not want to doom her nation to extinction because of her selfish actions. And as one final piece of goodwill, she erases the memories of herself from everyone within the nations so that their guilt can be erased. Everyone's memory except her sister's. Now Dowon was a member of the anti-Jihad forces, a member of the Hidden Grove who, at the time, were Thug's strongest group. As for her reasons for becoming a warrior/ranker, it was all based around her father's death. Around the time Jihad was trying to become king and rule over the tower, her father was sent to fight, but died during battle. This encouraged herself and her sister to basically take up the tests of becoming regulars and then eventually becoming rankers and joining the fight that their father once started in terms of being a part of it. Now Dowon can use Flower Shinzu, which opens up the possibility of us seeing more different types of Shinzu being wielded throughout the series in the future. Like, if there's Flower Shinzu, then why can't there be something like, I don't know, Card Shinzu? I mean, we're already seeing Ice Shinzu, so this Flower Shinzu should not really be that big of a surprise. But again, seeing these type of skills opens up the possibilities for future things to come. I will say this, the Flower Shinzu that she wields within these arcs looks beautiful, yet deadly at the same time. Honestly, the art within these arcs was fantastic. Great props to SIU for doing an amazing job once again. Now then, we did get slightly introduced to another member of Team Hidden Grove. Another person who was also sealed away, but sealed away because of his own volition. He volunteered to seal himself away after going on a war blood path after Dowon was sealed herself. This man, of course, is Cha. This guy was the leader or co-leader of the team. A very strong, prideful character indeed. Now Cha has, and probably still does, have romantic feelings for Dowon. That exchange of words between them in where he asks her next time if he can be allowed to ask her out like a proper man. That was great, especially her reactions. Her answer was a yes to his sort of feelings for now, but when he next asks, over that period of time, her answer might change. Cha obviously has never met the guy known as Bam 25th. This guy has a habit of attracting the ladies, and Dowon might fall for Bam when those two finally meet. Just like how the Princess of Jihad seems to get head over heels for our main protagonist. Now we can definitely say for certain that both Bam and Dowon are going to meet at some point in the future, because she was waiting for someone born from a great man and great woman. Obviously referring to Bam being the kid that she's waiting for, V and Arlene being the great man and woman. The person who told her about these people was probably Lasek, as he probably was the only person to know both V and Arlene at the time that they were both alive. Now the team Hidden Grove looks interesting, as we have what looks to be a native one a part of their team. A person that very similarly resembles Rack's design, but is white and looks a bit sheep-like. Plus there are a lot of talks of a traitor within the ranks, so hopefully we unlock more information about this team as we unlock more sealed heroes. Plus we need to spend more time with Dowon, as she's only just awoken from her long slumber, as well as obviously Char needs to awaken, plus we need to find out who that traitor is and why. Another interesting character focus we got given within these arcs revolves around White. After all, he not only had a great showcasing against Kallavan, debatable actually, but he also made a few thought-provoking statements to different members of our main cast, making them think a bit more, making them confused, and making them wonder, making them hopefully improve. His interactions with Hats should hopefully pave the way for some more development for Hats in the future. Their conversation acted as almost like a wake-up call for Hats. After all, the words White was saying about swords within this arc weren't necessarily wrong. Swords have many different uses, such as protecting, fighting, and more often than not, they end up killing people. If Hats is afraid of murder, then he's not suitable to be a swordsman and can't make his sword reach the full potential. Now, of course, the words that White speaks within these arcs may not entirely be incorrect. Of course, he has some truth behind his words. But I will admit, there are obviously some truth in the statements. The swords do not only kill. They can be useful in different areas and aspects without killing the person you need to. It's just the fact is, when wielding a sword, you need killing instincts and intent. If your resolve and your intent is weak, then your sword is going to be blunt. That's what I think White was trying to explain to Hats, but obviously it's in White's own way, which can be a bit more cryptic than not. Now then, White's conversation with Bam helps to give off a more creepy and more sinister vibe to White's character. It was implying the fact that White wants to help Bam grow stronger, only to appease his own needs/desires. To kill Bam when Bam has fully mastered his skills, give him a good thrill of a fight, before White takes down his prey, known as Bam 25th. Ultimately, we know that White wants to devour Bam's soul, but only when it's at its ripest, when it's at its juiciest. That's when he'll strike and try and take down our main protagonist. Now then, seeing White's new sword and different skills was really fun to witness actually, because up to this point it's been a very long time since we've seen White actually go into a confrontational fight in terms of being pushed as much as he has in this confrontation against Kallavan. Now his new sword that he uses not only looks good visually in terms of the art style, but also gives him a bit of an edge in this fight against Kallavan, if only for a brief moment of time, before Kallavan gets in serious and actually pushes White back tremendously. Now I understand that White is not at his peak in terms of having his full power back yet, but seeing him lose confidence within himself before the fight even begun was actually weird and kind of alien to me. White knew he was outmatched and wanted Dowon's help. He was trying to get Dowon's sister to basically unlock Dowon so that she can help White in the fight against Kallavan. This whole confrontation, this fight between Kallavan and White helps to hype Kallavan even more. This guy was only using one arm for crying out loud, and this was enough to push White back. So much, making it look easy in the process as well. Even throwing shade at White, while Kallavan with his cocky attitude and unimpressed expressions on his face. Kallavan didn't even have to try against White at this moment in time. That is absolutely ridiculous. Now, of course, we know that Kallavan is a former squadron commander, so we know that his power is insane. But are we led to believe that at the last station he wasn't even trying? Like, his guard was let down because Bam is a regular, but at the same time, Bam managed to do more damage to Kallavan than White managed to do here. That's kind of insane when you think about it. Now, Kallavan seemed a lot more cold-hearted and ruthless, killing those guards he came across, and all round acting rather antagonistic, which was kind of odd as the tower's people think the Jihad and his army are all good people, and Thug are the bad people. Of course, we know as the audience that this is obviously the other way round. Jihad and his army are corrupt. They may not even think it themselves, but they're fighting for a bad cause. Where Thug is actually fighting for the side of good in some respects. Be that it may, the good is kind of blurry on their side. But I digress. The fact that Kallavan only uses one arm is thanks to an oath that he took in front of Jihad, forbidding the use of both of his arms, handicapping Kallavan within a fight. Of course, as we get to see in his fight with White, Kallavan having a handicap is not actually that bad because he's still a powerhouse, so let's be honest here. Now, of course we have that weird binding around his arm. Can he break it himself? Well, we'll have to find out soon. Or does it have to have someone of high power that's close to Jihad kind of break it for him? I don't know about that, but again, I'm going to look out for that information. I thought him having girl issues though was kind of funny, and the fact that he handled the situation relatively well, asking the one and only girl that he knows for advice, was a smart choice. But yeah, overall, Kallavan just seemed a bit more kind of darker, a bit more edgy, a bit more ruthless and like a killer, as opposed to someone who upholds justice. Now, we did also get a very interesting piece of dialogue from Khun, as it's implied that Khun might be a little bit jealous of Bam. After all, there was a shot in where White was talking to Hats, and then it panned to Khun's character, and he was saying how he understands how it's frustrating seeing someone with so much power and potential but not knowing how to wield it properly. But as soon as saying that piece of dialogue, the next panel underneath it was a picture of Bam. So is Khun kind of jealous of Bam's kind of overwhelming power and inability to use it properly? I don't think jealousy is the right word, but I still think there's something there. Might just be a little bit of a over-analysis from my point of view, but nevertheless though, still something to look out for in the future. Could there be a small rift appearing between these two best buddies? Okay, so the members of this wall, the residents that live within it, are all complete and utter a-holes. They deserve to be soul food and slaughtered for White. Dowon gave up her life and freedom to be sealed away so that her nation, the residents and the people, descendants of these people here, can live in peace. Yet at the first sign of this peace being threatened, they retaliate, trying to destroy the monument built in her honour, trying to get her sister to leave, and even refusing to listen to her side of the story. Instead, going straight to, she's a traitor, she must die. Get rid of her because she is the only key. Now then, the guard that Bam and Khun and Rak were fighting is another big hypocrite. Being that he was turned away by the people that were weak that he once tried to help, after being found a killer after killing someone important, he returned to the wall, claiming that the weak deserve to be punished and to suffer. Only the strong can survive. This is the law of the jungle. So he goes back to the wall to try and keep peace there. Instead, he's just running away from doing the right thing. After one bad experience, he's given up on helping the weak and instead becoming greedy and power hungry. Those people living within the walls do not need saving or helping. If anything, the only person that needs help is Kane, Dowon's sister. She needs help more than anyone, and yet she is being alienated and used by everybody involved. Can you imagine the pain she must have felt when her sister was sealed away? She's so close to her, yet so far. She is also the only one with memories of what happened within the past. No one else knows what really happened. Yet, every single day she goes to visit her sister. She tries so hard all this time to resist the desire to wake her sister up, only to see how heartless and scummy the people that her sister sacrificed herself to save are. Hence to why I honestly can't blame her actions within this arc. She honestly does the most logical and natural thing to do. She tries putting up with it for so long, and eventually she snaps. Hopefully though this character isn't dead, because it looks like that once she opened the seal, it looks like she collapsed on the floor. So maybe she's lost her memory, maybe she died. I hope not though, because she deserves a little bit of justice towards the end of this. Okay then, so our original three, Raccoon and Bam, once again team up to face off against this guard who has crazy wrist action. I could make a rude joke here, but I know what you're all thinking, so just go with that joke in your mind. Let's be civil here. This fight had only just started within these arcs, and it already shows how much of a unit these three characters are when working together. They all have crazy, strange abilities, but at the same time they complement each other wonderfully. It seems like it's been so long since we've seen them fight together as a three-man team, yet the skills of working together in coordination have not rusted in the slightest. It looks like no time has passed at all. This whole fight and seeing the team reunited and attacking their common enemy this time was a feel-good moment. Rack using his rocks, Coon with his lighthouse and fire skills, and Bam with his transformation. The guard did not have a chance, but he did mention something rather interesting. He looked at Rack using his power of rocks and said, that power is not meant for a regular. So, is Rack's power like well known? Or does he just know like what the ancients were using way back when? Something to look out for, but I thought it was quite an interesting line nevertheless. Now then, that little red-headed guide, we finally get a name for her. And it's So Oh. This character wasn't really heavily featured within the arc. She did do a few things here and there, but we learn that she can get super small, which I think is just adorable. She's one of the characters that actually explains some of the plot and background, especially explaining it to our main heroes. Plus, she doesn't like the fact that Bam reminds her of Jihad. I guess it's because they're both irregulars and they can both kind of interfere with destiny, and guides obviously read destiny and the paths lay ahead before them. So that might be the reason as to why. Nevertheless though, I still like this character. She has a great design and I can't wait to see more from her if she's still integral into the story moving forward. My last point to talk about within the video is to do with Hockney and Caesar. Or Kaiser? Is it Kaiser? Might be Kaiser. Basically, these two had a small piece of dialogue, and Hockney is still looking for his painting, which we know who has it at this moment in time, but it's good to see those two still kind of make an appearance every now and again. They deserve more screen time, because I just want to see them both, to be honest. Snake Eye, not really that bothered by. Hopefully, Yuha and Eon is okay. But that's all I really got to say on that front. Overall though, I thought these were some interesting arcs with a lot of beautiful artwork and some cool looking character designs. So hopefully we learn more about our heroes moving forward and find out whether or not they'll side with Jihad's forces or Team Bam and Thug. The obvious answer would be that they would side with Thug, being that they were on the anti-Jihad forces previous, but with Tower of God, we never know. They always seem to throw a curveball within the story every now and again, so something might go wrong here. We'll have to wait and see as we progress up the tower with more and more arcs moving forward. So, if you want to join me on my journey, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit like, comment and subscribe all your thoughts about the arcs. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Other than that though, have a great day and I'll see you next time. Alligator, matane, goodbye.